Welcome back to Racing Weekly's Cheltenham Festival preview. We're into day 3 of this year's Cheltenham Festival. This programme brought to you by Oddschecker in association with Bet365. Alongside me, Steve Ryder, Willy Twiston-Davies, Pat Cooney and Gavin Lynch. And away we go with day 3. But before we get into the Mayor's Novice Hurdle, which will be the first race, just to remind you about Bet365's incredible Cheltenham offer, which is back. All 4 days of the festival, there'll be a super boost every single day of Cheltenham 2025, and that's from 10 a.m. every day. Download the app and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. T's and C's apply. So, to the Mayor's Novices Hurdle, and as you're closest to me, Gav, is Faugheen's niece, Maureen, going to win?
I'm usually too close to you after we hit our drives as well, but anyway, that's another day's work.
No, I'm normally behind you.
Maureen, I think 6.5 and Maureen, they're a little bit too short in the market. You can lay them, if I was a bookmaker like Pat, laying the two of them at 3-1, even money, they seem a bit short. Maureen, the horse that it beat, Dee's Lady, got well stuffed the other day by Swing Davis. Swing Davis was going to be second to Caroline Bamboo at Fairyhouse. I think Caroline Bamboo will go off a lot shorter than 7-1. She was disappointing first time out in Naas. She was heavily punted. There was a lot of talk about her. She got beat. But as we've seen all season, a lot of Willies can improve a lot for a run. She was impressed from Fairyhouse. I think she'll go off shorter than 7-1. She's probably a bit of value. Galileo Dame, if she goes here, would have a squeeze. She gets £10 instead of going to the Triumph. Her jumping was terrible at Christmas. It was a bit better the last day. Yeah, it was definitely better. And the fact that in this race or in the Triumph, 2 hurdles in the last 7 furlongs will suit her. She's actually higher rated than 6.5. 6.5 has a good chance. I've backed it. I'm hoping it wins. It only had the 1 start over hurdles, just like Maureen, but she was more furnished or finished article jumping. Qualamita that she got beat today at Leopardstown, so just to keep that in mind. I just think 2 3-1 is a little bit short. I'd also say that maybe Just a Rose would have a chance as well. So it's an open enough race, but if I had to have a bet this second, it'd be Caroline Bamboo each way at 7-1.
Caroline Bamboo. Pat, what do you like?
Yeah, similar to Gavin, really. For the last 6 weeks or so, these have been the dominant 2 in the market, Maureen and 6.5. Maureen is probably more reputation-based than form-based. And 6.5, she did win really well in her first run, but she only had the 1 run over hurdles. And I spoke to Gavin Cromwell at Windsor when the Winter Millions was on. I said to him, well, where will she run again? He was, no, straight to Cheltenham. She doesn't need the racecourse experience. She's a winning bumper. She's won on the flat.
She was third in the Irish Cesarewitch.
And she came over for the English Cesarewitch, but I think she trod on a stone on the day or something. So you're looking at a real professional type of mare. I'm a little bit with Gavin, like around about 3-1 each, evens coupled. You'd rather have the rest of them, really. One I would say that has been popular is Diva Luna of the informed Ben Pauling stable. I mean, she got beat last time out, but she has halved in price. She's around about a 14-1 chance. Like that, she wouldn't be too far away on form. If I had to pin myself to one, I think 6.5 looks to me to be the type that could win this race. But I think from a bookmaking point of view, it's the type of race where you could be sensing we might get a result here.
Okay. Well, have you got a fancy in this race?
Not particularly, no. I thought I was very impressed with 6.5 the last day. The Willie Mullins third one, if it turns up. Yeah, I thought
okay.
On ratings and Racing Post ratings, it looks to have a good chance, but it's one of those races that personally for me, I'd want scrapped from the festival to make it more quality.
Oh.
You can have it in the Cheltenham April meeting or they've got Punchestown's Air. We've got so much racing coming up. Air, Aintree, Punchestown, Fairyhouse. And all of a sudden it's sort of too much. It's a race that we don't really need. And no one is going to go there on that day and be really jiggy about this race. apart from whoever wins it.
Just to say, it's good that they've made it this year that it's a level weights race.
Yeah.
Last year, Brighter Days Ahead was second, given the winner, I think, maybe £5, which you want to find out who's the best mare. So it's a good idea. Now, why they haven't gone and done that for the Mayor's Chase is a bit strange. So they've done it for one mare's race. They should have done it for both, I thought.
Steve, what'd you like?
Not a huge opinion. 6.5 would be for me. 94 rated flat performer as well on good ground at Newmarket. So if it is fast ground on that day, yeah, she'll be fine. I thought her jumping improved as she went last time. And yeah, I thought she was probably going to go off favourite, to be honest.
Okay. I'll add my backing to Galileo Dame. Should she run in this race? She's also in the Triumph, but I'm not sure which race she's going to run in. Another Joseph O'Brien, multiple entry. But I liked her run last time, as Gavin pointed out. Her first run over hurdles, she didn't jump very well, but she's a hardy horse. She's pretty talented on the flat. She was second to Hamish. She was a pretty talented horse of Willie Haggis is in a listed race at the back end of last season in Ireland. I think she's improving. So whatever race she runs in, I'm probably going to back her. But hopefully being this one, I think she'll have a good chance. The Ryanair Chase is obviously one of the major races on day 3 of the Cheltenham Festival. Still a little bit of uncertainty as to who definitely is going to run in the race. It appears that Fact to File is. And if he does, is he a good thing?
Well, it is, I guess, the runner race at the moment, isn't it? You can't really have too strong an opinion about it. Fact to File, does he want to chase home Gallopin again? I don't know about that. But he is a Gold Cup horse in his own right, Fact to File, isn't he?
Yeah.
And if he were mine, I'd run him in the Gold Cup. I'd rather win a Gold Cup than a Ryanair, wouldn't you?
100%.
But Fact to File, were he to turn up in the Ryanair, he's bound to be favourite. But then you've got the unknowns, haven't you? Gaelic Warrior, is he going to turn up? What Ile Francais are you going to get? Could you get the spectacular front runner or the one that throws in the odd bad one? Don't know going down the runners. One that will be popular is Protectorat. I know he's a 10-year-old, but he won okay last time out. We know he's good round here. I think he's the one that will shorten up in the market, and he is definitely running in the Ryanair. Yeah. And I couldn't say who else is going to be definitely running in the race from here on in. So on that basis, I think Protectorat is worth a second look. But if Fact to File does turn up here, it's his to lose, really.
Willie?
Well, it looks more than likely we'll probably run Master Chewy in it. It's quite interesting to see DeGello's 12-1, and I think we got beaten ahead by him. We've got a lot of form in and around him. And actually, Master Chewy's probably looked like the better horse than him throughout his career, especially after last time. He got beaten by him when all the fences were taken out. I think Master Chewy traded at 101 probably that day. He's a very talented horse in his day, and I think up in trip, he's very unexposed. We've always been over 2 miles. He was third in the 3 mile point to point. I think Sam can ride him very cold and land there. Whether he can win or not, I don't know, but he'll have a good each way chance for a very consistent horse, very likeable horse, and one we've always loved. Obviously, away from him, Fact to File looked very good last year. I sort of thought he would go on and be I was hoping, not hoping, I thought he could go on to be the could be anything horse, and he's just sort of come up a bit short this year. Is he good enough to win a Ryanair? Probably, but Protectorat on his day is obviously a very talented horse as well. But no, I like Master Chewy. Hopefully he'll run well. Obviously he's a very big price, but he's won 2 Grade 2s. Was second to Gordon Elliott's horse that was second in the Arkle, beaten ahead in the Grade 1 at Aintree, and he's 33-1. So I think it's a bit unfair, really.
He's a very honest horse, isn't he, Master Chewy?
He's a very good horse, and I think he gets better in the spring. And a few of ours I've noticed recently in the warm weather, they could really come into their coats and this time of year, and he seems to be that sort of horse every year. His probably career best was at Aintree in April, and he's looked. We've had a steady start. He fell in the Tingle Creek, and then he ran in probably too soon at Cheltenham. Then he put in probably a career best in the Game Spirit. I think he's crying out for the crop to step up and trip, and this warmer weather, no, he shouldn't be written off.
What price is he, Pat, at the moment?
33.
33s.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting each way shot then. Steve, what do you think?
Last 11 winners have either made all, tracked leaders, or been prominent. And I think this is probably going to be quite a big field this year. I think quite a lot are going to take their chance. I'm quite interested in how they're going to ride Jungle Boogie. Now, he must be the most lightly raced 11-year-old in training. He's had 7 career starts, but he's won 5 of those, travelled really well in the Gold Cup last year, made a mistake 3 out, and then weakened after that. He won at Ascot, making all last time, jumped left-handed throughout on the right-handed track. I thought going back left-handed would suit him. I assume Rachel's going to ride Envoy Allen, so you'd have Darrow Keefe on board. That's no negative for me. And I can't really see a negative to him, to be honest, in his 20-1 ante-post. Okay,
and what about you, Gav, for the Ryanair?
Fact to File, it just depends. Sometimes the Ryanair can cut up a lot, depending on that'll decide his SP. I think he'll drift a little bit. It has to be a major worry. The last day they held him up a lot more at the DRF over 3 miles, and he gets outstayed in the last 100 yards by Grangeclare West, who was last to 5 in Navan at the weekend. Just slight doubt, is he going to be battling his way in the last furlong? He's not going to do it on the bridle, no chance. So he has a squeak. I just think he'll drift a little bit depending on how many show up. The French horses burst twice. I personally can never back a burster. I don't like it. I think flat tracks might suit him better. The up and down of Cheltenham a little bit might catch him out. Spallan's Termite can go. I think Protectorat's got a great chance. Obviously, he's much better going left-handed, as we've seen the last day. Was very impressive. Wins it last year. Now, the only negative is you can find a negative with most horses, but I generally don't try not to back too many 10-year-olds. He is 10. He was very impressive last year. Violin came there cruising 2 out. You thought he was going to pick him up. He didn't. There's a lot of pace in the race. I definitely would give Jungle Boogie a chance.
Gavin doesn't back 10-year-olds, but he does 11-year-olds.
No, I would say Jungle Boogie has I was just going to say he has an each race squeak. But if I was pressed, I'd back Protectorat each way. But the 10-year-old is the only little worry for me.
It's the process of elimination that people are coming to Protectorat because of little question marks about one or two others and similar. I mean, I love Factifar. He has been slightly disappointing this year. I mean, what Willy's saying is he did look like he could potentially be on another level and be a proper challenger to Galopin des Champs, and that sort of fizzled out after the John Dirk.
I think the one last thing to say is that I can't ever see Factify winning a Gold Cup, but I think they're better to go the Imperial Commander route. Go with the Ryanair this year and maybe take on Galopin a year later when he's 10 and you're 9. Might give you a small chance. I can't see it, but I can see the reasoning.
Well, I think he's ended up with the old Florida Pearl curse. So he went straight from bumpers to fences, and he's going to end up like Florida Pearl, not being a Gold Cup horse, but he might win a King George or something. So Protectorat for me as well. The Stayers Hurdle. Let's start with you, Steve. The Stayers Hurdle, because it could be again a repeat of last year's race at Tiupu, home by the Lee.
Yeah, could the drying ground will be a concern for Tiupu? I know Timeform called it good when he won at Punchestown, but beating Asterion Phalange on yielding ground by 6.5 lengths probably isn't good enough to win a Stayers Hurdle, albeit that it doesn't look the strongest race. I'm going to chance one at a bit of a wild price. I think Mystical Power at 25-1 is relatively interesting. I know the Supreme form has kind of been let down, but this is a weak race. If you look back at Nichols Canyon finished second in the Champion Hurdle and then won the Stayers Hurdle. That season that Nichols Canyon won the Stayers Hurdle, he had been beaten at 2-5 and fallen on his other 2 starts over 2 miles. It's kind of a bit of a shot in the dark, and yeah, I thought it was quite interesting that he still had an entry.
All right, an interesting outsider, Mystical Power. Gowell Road, and we were talking about honest horses, Twiston-Davies horses. He is this season he's been terrific, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, like he's just an absolute pleasure to train. He just battles on. Obviously, the Wall Park's beaten him, giving us weight. So interesting to see where he goes. Lucky Place beat us in the Rel Keel over an adequate trip over 2.5 at Cheltenham. I'd like to think he could hopefully reverse it with her. Whether he's a genuine Grade 1 horse, I don't know. But he's won a Cleve Hurdle. He gave £25 and £27 in his 2 defeats in his handicaps at Cheltenham. Ultra consistent. Goes on all grounds. It's actually just a pleasure to train. Whether he's got that final little bit of class, but as you say, he might not need to. Tiupu, if he doesn't show up, we've got a chance. Home by the Lee's been good the last couple of times. But I don't know. He hopefully he'll have a good chance, and he's the price he is for a reason. But the one thing you know of him, if he's at the bottom of the hill, a length off or bang there, he's not going to be too far behind the finish line. He's a very, very Dallas Dayer and tries his heart out.
Absolutely. He's 100% all heart up that hill. Pat, what do you like in the Stayers?
Well, we're splitting the office on this one. Some in the office think Tiupu is probably the best, most likely winner of the whole meeting. Others in the office are thinking, well, he is ground dependent. His 2 runs this year aren't stellar lines of form by any means. He won as he should first time out and was beaten as he should have been next time out. But it was always the plan to come here after the long layoff. If you said to me it's going to be soft on the day, then I would imagine he'll be odds on and all the rage. I'm just in the camp where I presume he'll win. And I look at Home by the Lee. His last 2 wins have been good. He's a 10-year-old. I think he's been beaten in this race 3 times before. I think I backed him in 2 of them. And he never showed at all. So if he's your second favourite, as a bookmaker, you're worried what's going to come and help you out. Lucky Place is interesting because he's unexposed at the trip. I was at Nicky Henderson's a couple of weeks ago, and he's quite happy with the horse.
Yeah.
Thinks it's worth having a stab at the race, but it was worth having a stab rather than I think he'll near enough win. So I'm left with Tiupu by elimination more than anything. Well,
okay. And Venice, a lot of people like Tiupu. I imagine he'd been in a few multiples for the week. What about you, Gav?
Yeah, I think ground is a huge factor for him. He got his ground last year. It was very, very soft for the whole week last year. It's going to be different this time. So I think the ground will play a huge part in what his SP will be. He could go off 4-6 if it's soft. And if it's good ground or good to soft, he could go off 6-4. The only thing is, it's not a strong race. Some of the press were down at Joseph's last week and he said Home by the Lee was his bet of the week. 6th, 5th and 3rd in this race. if it was his first time at the stairs, he'd probably be a 3-1 shot. Very impressed for Christmas. Rocky's Diamond, who he stuffed, came out and won the Galmoy in Gorham Park since the form is good. They reckon that they have a different work rider this year, different way of training the horse. They ride it differently, more out the back, out to the wide outside, etc., etc. I personally fancy the Wall Park. I backed him a good while ago, just like you have. We were chatting there a few minutes ago. I'd love to see him go here, but I've also more recently backed him for the Pertemps non-runner no bet in case they switch. You should. I think that at the end of October in the Pertemps qualifier of 145, just at the bend, there's a few horses around him. He has to finish in the first 4. And he's kind of a horse. He's not a gearsy horse. He's just a stayer. And the jockey kind of panicked because he might finish 5th or 6th. Got stuck into him for a few strides. And the next thing he's in front. Beats Scout Road.
It'll be hard for him not to run in the World Hurdle though.
You reckon?
Well, it will be. JP, Grade 1, Stairs Hurdle, Galro, what price is he? 12 to 1, 14 to 1. You've beaten us, giving us weight. Home by the lead, Tia Hoopu, ground drying. You've run at October. It's going to be hard not to run. Well, so you're going to want to run in a Pertemps, which is an 80 grand total prize, or you run 300 grand.
Yeah, well, certainly the prize money, I don't think come into it, JP. But
I know, but Grade 1, he wants to win the big races.
Yeah, he does, absolutely. But
I like that thinking.
Yeah, another way you're thinking. But yeah, I'd like to see him go here, and I think he's got a rock solid each way chance. That was good ground at the end of October. He's won in the summer. The last day in Ascot, Mark Walsh, first time to ride him. I'd say he got to know him a lot better. The ground was deep. He stayed on. He did look a bit outpaced. He's not the greatest jumper in the world, but again, 2 hurdles in the last 7 furlongs will suit. So I think he's got a solid each way chance to Wall Park.
Yeah, the other thing, Steve's heard me boring people half to sleep about it, but I do think he's actually better going. I know he has one going right hand. I think he moves through the race better going left hand. I've watched all his races back, and he comes off the bridle a little bit earlier going the other way, which is not a surprise when he did what he did at Ascot. But he finished the race off strongly, and you watch him again at Cheltenham. He actually travels into the race, admitting I know it's a handicap, as opposed to the Grade 1 at Ascot, but he travels into the race really nicely at Cheltenham and finished strongly, hitting the line hard.
I think if you back the Wall Park, you're praying that it's going to be a really fast run race. That would suit him the best because he's a very strong stayer. But look, there's not a lot wrong with Tiupu, who won it very easy last year. You're just trying to find holes in an even money shot, and I suppose the ground is the only hole we can find.
Okay, so the Wall Park for a few of us, or a couple of us. Okay, let's open the floor up. Steve, anything else you like on day 3?
Yeah, I particularly like Fugitive for the plate. I have put him up on the show, obviously previously. Yes. Just has lots and lots of Cheltenham form. This race actually has been won by older horses, and obviously with the reintroduction of the novice handicap chase this year, you're going to have fewer unexposed novices coming into this race. So if you look at it, 3 seasons ago, Cool Cody won it at the age of 11, Seddon won it 2 years ago at the age of 10, Shake 'em Up Harry won it last year at the age of 10, Fugitive is now 10. The only disappointing run at Cheltenham in his career came in the Ryanair Chase last year when he was too high in the handicap. If you go back through his ratings and his wins, he finished 2nd in this race 2 years ago off a mark of 149, won the December Gold Cup off a mark of 151. He's now dropped down to a mark of 148. He's 20 to 1. That's far too big of a price. And I think in the Jack Richards Novices Handicap Chase, I've thrown a few at kind of wild prices tonight, but I really do think Jaguar is a worthy favourite in this. He comes out of that time form Novices Handicap Chase on Trials Day, which just throws up winners every single year. If you go back through it, Irish Cavalier, Mr. Whitaker, Imperial Aura, all ran in the time form Novices Chase and won at the Cheltenham Festival. You even had Simply the Bets running it, won the plate. You had Stage Star running it and won the Turners. You had Ginny's Destiny last year, won it and finished 2nd in the Turners. So it's just a race that works out every year. I thought 11 to 2 was very, very fair around Jaguar.
Okay. Jaguar and the Jack Richards Novices Handicap Chase. Willie, anything else worth keeping an eye on?
Guard the Moon, if he gets in, he would have needed his run in the Pertemps. He's a likeable horse and a definitely very workable mark. He's a lot better than his mark. With sort of a bit of a rush to get him to his qualifier. But the one horse I did notice ran very well. We had a runner in the race. Was Jericho de Rapone at Exeter.
Yes.
Yeah.
What did you think of that run?
Slight eye catcher. Yeah. Yeah, I thought he was tenderly handled. He's obviously got plenty of ability. Whether you take the price, like he's going to be, what is he now?
About 7.
Yeah, 7.
Yeah.
It's short enough about him because he's obviously had his issues and things, but I just thought he looked like there was plenty left anyway. And he's dropped from what looked like he could be a 140, 150 horse in his novice hurdle days. All of a sudden, he's going to be running off a very workable mark. And he was obviously an eye catcher, but I wouldn't. You wouldn't do a genius to watch that.
Agree. Was it Secret Squirrel that he beat at Newbury as a novice?
Yeah.
So, yeah, wonder whether his mark is lenient.
Well, I got a big ring round Jericho de Repenay and loved him last year. And of course, it went wrong for him first time out this year. But it was a notable run to qualify for this race last time out. And the Wall Park is also in JP's colours as well. Whether he runs or not remains to be seen. But Jericho de Repenay, he's 135, really. He's a better horse than 135. I could see him being the gamble of the Pertemps, really. I know there's going to be a maximum field and everything else, but if you just keep watching that Exeter run back, you're thinking, oh well, he's the type of horse that'll be winning off a 135 soon. Whether it's going to be at the Cheltenham Festival remains to be seen. It might be other days, but I'd have him much better than his current mark.
Yeah. Okay, Gav.
Sorry to break your heart, Rishi, but I'm going to go for the Wall Park and the Pertemps.
No, we just covered this.
Sorry, we'll chat later on.
We've covered this.
We'll chat.
Willy's made very good point. And then Pat said, Jericho de Repenay in JP's colours is going to get gambled on in the... Right.
No.
Okay.
Look, I'm only N or NB. If the Wall Park goes to Pertemps, I think he'll win. I think he'll go off favourite. I think he'll go off 3-1, but he's off 152. He's carrying top weight, but he's a class act. He'd be placed in the stairs. I don't know where he's going to go. It's probably 50-50, but...
Gordon suggested he's going to go for the stairs, isn't he?
Did he?
He said he could get placed in the stairs.
Usually JP, I think, makes the decisions with his horses.
Well, JP's just said Jericho's...
As we saw with Factify last year for the Brown Advisory. But just tie up a few quid for a week, Rishi. It'll help you get over it when he doesn't win the stairs. But I think he's got a big chance at the Wall Park. We've gone through it already. I think it's a massive chance. Feet of a Dancer in the same race, 12-1 for Paul Nolan. Won the race a couple of years ago to a nice mare. This mare is very nice too. She travels very strongly. Got there way too soon at Christmas in the qualifier. Took it up at the bend. The jockey needs to count to 10 and wait. Then count to 5. Then jump the last. Then count to 8. And then get there. Because if he does that, she's a brilliant chance being placed. She's genuine. She's a lovely mare, but just over that trip, she travelled so sweetly that she needs to come late, so she'd have a squeak. Also, to go back to the Jack Richards Novices Handicap Chase over 2.5, definitely Jaguar is a big chance. Only went up £7 for the last 8, jumped much better than he had previous. But I'm going to talk to you about Asian Master for a second.
Okay.
See if they hear me out. I'm going to bore you here for a minute, right? So it depends on Springwell Bay, this race. Now, he might go to the plate. So this scenario that I'm going to give you probably won't play out at all, but I'll just tell you about it anyway. At the moment, he's due to carry 11 stone 2 for Thomas Costello, the jockey. Last year, for example, he rode the Horseman Supreme, where you can't claim, right, a Grade 1 race. But you have to claim your claim in a handicap. So take £7 off that he would claim. That would bring you to 10 stone 9. Found out since that the BHA only allow a jockey to weigh up to £3 overweight.
Mm-hmm.
So if the weight stayed the same, he couldn't ride it if the horse had to carry more than 10, 12. He's 6'5", so he's not doing 10 stone 12. Nothing wrong with the jockey, but I personally would have a massive difference between all the amateurs and the good pros. So I think if Danny Mullins, I'm not saying Paul will ride it because on the Thursday he's trying to win his 3rd Gold Cup in a row on the Friday. He only rode in one handicap last year, which was the county over hurdles. But I'm just saying that Danny could end up in Asian Master. Mightn't happen, but when the decks come out at 10:40 on the Tuesday morning for Thursday, first thing I'll be doing is watching to see who's riding Asian Master. It depends on what weight he has, because obviously Thomas's parents own the horse, thought they'd love him to ride the horse.
You haven't bored us at all. Just, you know.
Sure?
That's quite interesting.
You're still awake?
Yeah, I'm with you.
And the last one I want to bore you on is the Kim Muir. Is a horse called Midnight Hour Fred. I tipped him up a while ago. His price is not brilliant now. He's 8 or 10-1. I just think he's got a great bit of form from Christmas in the Paddy Power Handicap Chase. He finished the second off 128 to Percival Le Gallois. Nick Rockett was 4th. He went on since to win the Thyestes and the Bobby Joe. Other horses further behind have ran well. He won right-handed over 2.5 at Gorham Park, but he's better going left-handed, the trainer says, JP Flavin. He's been to Cheltenham 3 times. He's been second 3 times, including over 3.5 miles. He likes to be up with the gallop in the first 4 or 5. He jumps really well. He's very uncomplicated ride, easy horse to ride in an amateur rider's race, where there's hopefully going to be a lot of trouble in behind. He's only gone up £3 an hour for that run, and he only got £1 last Tuesday, so he's off 132.
Okay.
It's an odd to 145, so he's going to carry around 11 stone or 10, 13. He's no certainty, but he definitely has an each way squeak at 10 to 1 is midnight hour, Fred.
Okay. Well, I thought that Thursday is going to be JP's day. Jaguar and the Jack Richards, Jericho de Repenay in the Pertemps, and the Wall Park in the Stairs. It's that easy on Thursday. It'll be the big gamble. Everyone will be going, JP had a great day on Thursday, and you heard it here first. Thank you very much. Okay. The best bet of Thursday?
For me, it'll be Fugitive in the Plate.
Fugitive in the Plate.
I'll just be politician, Gal Road each way in the Stairs.
Gal Road in the Stairs.
Jericho in the Pertemps.
Jericho in the Pertemps.
The Wall Park and the Pertemps if he goes, just to annoy you. Or Asian Master if he is a professional jockey.
Okay.
But we'll see. Neither of those two could happen. You never know.
Okay. Well, I'm going to say whatever race the Wall Park runs in on the Thursday, he'll be my selection, and I hope it's the Stairs. Well, that is it for a look at day 3 of this year's Cheltenham Festival.